the end of the year. Did you pay your taxes? Are you in trouble? Ugh. Well, I'm Kathy Burns, and I've been in your shoes if you haven't paid them. And man, it's so important to be on top of this. For years when I got into the real estate business, it was all I could do to survive. I was so broke, so paying taxes was the least of my concerns. Not only did I not pay them, I didn't even file. Want to know what the penalty was? At least it was for me at this particular moment in time. $5,000 a year, and I did it 3 times, all in a row. So now I'm building my business, and I'm not filing my taxes. I said, okay, I'm ready to pay now. I can figure it all out. And I hired a CPA to help me, and he goes, man, you really messed up, girl. You could have at least been on a payment plan. I go, a payment plan? I don't even know if I could have paid the payment plan. Well, you can. You just got to figure it out. But I was living so paycheck to paycheck, and when you're in commission, man, that's hard to do, right? So anyway, very important lesson. Pay, at least file your taxes. Apply for a payment plan if you can. However, what I really decided to do was have a CPA who worked with realtors. That's an important thing because they helped me really figure out, what were my write-offs. And I did have an LLC. Not in the beginning. I just did it as a sole proprietorship. But then I evolved to an LLC, S Corp. And it's important to have an attorney advise you. All these things cost money. I get it. But I'm going to tell you what, it's smarter, so much smarter, to do this up front and not be like me where you really screw up. And I had, it was something like $50,000 I owed in back taxes and penalties. You can't get out of penalties, just so you know. You got to pay them no matter what. And they compound. Their interest rate is ridiculous. You think our interest rate's bad for our homes today? Try dealing with the IRS. Not making any enemies here, Mr. or Mrs. IRS. I am paying my taxes like I'm supposed to. Going forward, never doing that again. So what I did was have a payroll company. So my CPA suggested that I get a payroll company, and instead of paying myself, I would just do it for the taxes. So I figured out a certain dollar figure that I felt comfortable that I could pay every single month. And that dollar figure was split up to all the taxes as if it was a dollar figure that I was paying myself. So I had my business account where that dollar amount went out, and the payroll company took it. They also charged me a monthly fee. I only did this once a month at the end of the month, where I figured some closings would be happening. And then they would process it, and they would do my W-2 for me at the end of the year and give that to my CPA. Now, sometimes that covered the tax bill, and a lot of times it didn't. So I had to come up with a different figure at the end. But the point for me was it wasn't a brutal figure. I could do it. I never had to make the payments after that where I spread it out. I just paid it. And I wanted to be a friend with the IRS. Now, I also got QuickBooks during that time, and I kept track of all my receipts. It was all organized. I had a profit and loss program, and I hired a bookkeeper who would review it every quarter with me. And we would go over, what are your expenses? What are you spending too much on? Do you really need that? And I would think it through and decide, because as a salesperson, kind of easily sold, darn it. Well, that helped me a lot. And looking at those profit and loss to see, you can think you're making all this money because you're doing all these commissions, but what's your net? What's your net? Because the net is what you actually are making. And that's critical to understand it. And I really, in the beginning, probably the first 6 years of my business in real estate, I messed up big time with accounting, tracking my business. I was in sheer survival mode. Just sheer survival. And those were tough years because I got in 2006. The market tanked in just as 2007 flipped over. And I was brand new to the area. So I was just learning the territory, much less learning the industry. I didn't do real estate before. So it was very challenging. I did it, made huge mistakes, and I hope to help you not make those mistakes. There are lots of payroll companies that will take on one person, and they will guide you as well. I think my fee right now is $48 a month. Could I do better? Maybe. I'm not shopping around because they handle it all for me. I like that. And if there was a month, like let's say I didn't have the money to pay even the draft for the taxes, I would say I need you to hold off on this month. And maybe I would double it up the next month because the closing went through. This is a challenging market to count on. However, I wouldn't do it any other way because I have the freedom to make as much money as I go after and not stuck in a salary position where I could be laid off or fired. You know what I mean? I don't do well as an employee. That's not my style. And honestly, I'm good at real estate. I'm not the rock star business person like I wish I was that some of these other people are. Man, I'm following them like crazy to figure out the systems. And I'm learning those systems and I'll be sharing them because without systems, you are working 24/7, which is exactly what I did. And I encourage you, don't do that. And I'm going to talk about this in another video about the territory that you cover because that's critical too. So I'll do that soon. So I definitely succeeded at a certain point, finally. And I really did succeed through those years in 2008, 9, and 10. However, I was playing catch up, and that's what I don't want to happen to you. I don't want you to have to deal with catch up. So you can do better than me, and you will. So QuickBooks is important. Payroll company is important. An attorney to draft those papers. You could try and do it online. I forget what my attorney charged me. It wasn't a fortune, but I wanted to be advised by my CPA what was the best path for me based on my income and my situation. So the CPA said, this is what you need. He referred me to the attorney. The attorney drafted the paperwork. I signed it. Every single year, I pay, I think it's $225 to have my business name renewed, and gladly do that. I actually forgot about that a couple of years. I didn't know that I was supposed to do that every year. So, yeah, you definitely do. And you're supposed to do your corporate minutes in there. So that's where ChatGPT comes in handy. You can get a lot of information about how to run this in ChatGPT. I talk to ChatGPT all the time, have real conversations. It's my buddy. And we figure things out, and then I go from the concept of what they're saying to exactly who I need to go to now. So that helps me a lot. So I encourage you to talk to your CPA, get QuickBooks for sure. And Mint is a division of QuickBooks, which you can do for your personal money. I wasn't doing that for the longest time too. And you really need to keep track of it all. It's hard for me as a high I, if you know what that is on the DISC profile. I'm not detailed. I need people around me who are detailed to keep me on track, because all I want to do is teach and sell homes and meet with people. I don't want to do the details. So you need to be in this business. In any business, you got to know your numbers. That's why an assistant is so good to have too, even if they're part-time. I had this one assistant. Oh man, she was so good. Now I have VAs, but I miss having a personal assistant. She was also my buyer's agent, and man, she organized me like crazy. I had, everything was tracked, and I like that, and got on that path, which is critical. So I encourage you to do that too. So that's my tip for today. If you like this and you're interested in more, subscribe, follow below, and share this with other agents who may be struggling out there, worried about how they're going to pay their taxes. The best thing to do with the IRS is face it and negotiate with them on a payment plan. They may say higher than you want to go. Try and see if they'll go a little bit lower. Say, hey, I'm street commission. I need you to be reasonable, and this is a tough market. I don't want to get in trouble here. So by missing some payments, help me be the best me that I can be and be true to what I have to do. Now, that being said, the last thing you want to do is start accumulating all kinds of IRS debt. You definitely want to focus on getting that paid off as quickly as you can, because what's happening? You're doing it the same thing this year. And they're going to require that you stay current with the current year if you're behind on the previous years. So remember that. So there's some tax tips for you. I hope that helps. I hope you listen to them and not be foolish like I was in the beginning of my career, because it really bit me. And so many life lessons, right? Sick of these life lessons. So anyway, subscribe below, listen to more if you like what you're hearing. Looking forward to it.